Guys, I'm actually so mad at myself. In my last video, I didn't notice this until you guys pointed it out. I actually didn't show you guys what the Raptors commentator said when Joel Embiid got fouled.
With a slam dunk, he's got 33. That's Bush League. Doc Rivers wants a coach's challenge. You get what you deserve.
Now that I've showed you guys that, let's talk Chicago. The Chicago Bulls were absolutely remarkable for parts of this season. I know that they sort of got handled by the Bucks, but all things considered, I think that you have to say that the path that the Bulls are on is ideal. I think that the path that they're on would be even more ideal if they're able to keep one of their franchise cornerstones in Zach Lavine. The Bulls have been quietly making moves over the past few years to build a winner. The big question is, will their moves be enough to convince Lavine to stay? Last year, the Bulls would trade for Nikola Vucevic, a move that left everybody stunned. In order to get Vooch, they would have to trade away Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter Jr., and 2 top 4 protected first-round picks. One of those picks has already turned into Franz Wagner, an exciting young player that showed us phenomenal upside this past season. With Wagner showing this upside and Wendell Carter Jr. improving at a rapid rate, part of me really wonders if the Chicago Bulls would make this trade again. They gave up a lot, but at worst, the trade at least showed that the Bulls were trying to make an effort to get better. The Chicago Bulls would follow up their Vooch move with more splash moves, like signing Lonzo Ball to a big but fair deal, stealing DeMar DeRozan with what ended up being one of the most shocking moves of the offseason, and bringing in Caruso from Los Angeles, which has already paid dividends. With this Chicago team, I can go on. I like Pat, Io is tough. Guys, I'm seriously not joking. I love this team's foundation. Let's just hope that Zach Lavine does too, given his recent comments. This video we have a ton to talk about, but before we go any further, let's get a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is a unique all-in-one platform for growing your business and online presence. A lot of you guys may not know this, but I used to run a few websites a long time ago. I had to teach myself how to code and all that stuff. It was really a hassle. I wish I had Squarespace because with Squarespace, building an engaging website is as simple as a few clicks. Selling products, content, etc. has never been easier. Squarespace has tons of templates that fill all content types. From galleries to blogs, if you need it, Squarespace has it. Check out this awesome Herb Jones for DPOY website that I was able to build in a matter of minutes, using one of their easy-to-use templates. I know the Pelicans just got eliminated, but the hope that Herb Jones wins DPOY in the future lives on. You're never lost in the sauce with Squarespace. They've got all of the tools and analytics that you need to make sure that you're on the right track. If you act now, you'll be able to take advantage of my special offer for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All you have to do is use my custom link in the description below. That's squarespace.com/GetLikeCoop. Once again, that's squarespace.com/GetLikeCoop. I want to give a major shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring today's content. Vooch made it clear that this franchise wants continuity going forward, stating that they want to see how this thing looks and what it can do. As far as the moves they can make, I don't really know that. That's their job. But I know that they want to continue to build a team that can win and compete at the highest level. Almost all great teams are built over time. I think Vooch's point about continuity is very valid. The Chicago core hasn't been together that long. They've been ravaged by injuries. Who knows what this team is really capable of at 100%. In the NBA, there's nothing like time. There's nothing like reps. There's nothing like growing and getting to know your teammates. Vooch also went on to say that you need to give a team a chance to go through the ups and the downs. Playoffs, tough moments, good moments, getting to build that chemistry. That was the message of what we talked about in exit meetings. These were all solid points from a more than solid player. The thing about continuity and chemistry and growing as a team is that it's a little harder to grow if you lose one of your most valuable pieces. Let's talk about what Zach Lavine had to say about his upcoming free agency. According to Casey Johnson, Lavine's free agency is a big decision for him and his family. They will take their time and look at everything. To quote Zach Lavine, I understand the relationship I've had with AK and the last 5 years here. I hope the city understands how much I care about the Bulls. I'm going into everything open-minded, but knowing how much I've enjoyed my time here. When Zach Lavine was directly asked if the Bulls are a leader in clubhouse for free agency, he said that you should view it as I've been here for the past 5 years. Obviously, you guys have been a really soft spot in my heart, and I have to do this as a business decision as a man. Not to be just viewed one way and be like I'm automatically coming back or I'm automatically leaving, things like that. It's unrestricted free agency. For my family and me, I have to go into this like it's a decision where I have to be open-eyed. And obviously, I have to make my list and talk to everybody in the summertime. Lavine emphasized that he wants to enjoy free agency and that he doesn't want to make a fast decision, and also he wants to go through this whole thing with Rich Paul and see what it has to hold. Last but not least, he said that getting a max contract is important to him, and that he views himself as one of the top guys in the league. As somebody that follows free agency and the NBA closely, I think that these comments are a little less than ideal. If I'm a Bulls fan, I'm certainly not panicking yet, but these comments are definitely putting me on notice, even if they are just PR speak. I can admit that as strictly an NBA fan, I'm pretty insecure. Look, it is what it is. In today's NBA, how could I not be? I've seen more than enough warning signs, and then people leave after I've seen these warning signs. I've seen guys say that they want their jerseys in the rafters, pledge their loyalty to a team, only to have that player leave a year later. I think that players choosing their own destiny is awesome, but also a tough pill to swallow for some fans at the same time. It took me a while, but now I see why some people are fans of players instead of ever committing to a franchise. It's kind of a cheat code when you really think about it. If Zach Lavine ever does commit to the open market, one thing is for sure, and that's that he should have more than his fair share of suitors. As a matter of fact, he's already being recruited. DeJounte Murray recently posted Zach Lavine to Twitter in a San Antonio Spurs jersey. DeJounte really waited for the Bulls to get eliminated and then chucked this to the timeline knowing that it was going to go viral. I know Zach and DeJounte are close, but I don't think DeJounte posts something like this just to post it. Again, maybe he does, I could definitely be wrong as I have been before, but maybe he knows something about Lavine, or maybe he's received word that the Spurs are expected to display serious interest. If Lavine were to stay in Chicago, he could get a max extension of $212 million through the course of 5 years. If he chose to go to another team in free agency, the max that he could be offered would be 4 years, $157 million. Now, I can't bring up Lavine leaving Chicago without bringing up the fact that he absolutely loves Los Angeles. Lavine went to UCLA, is also a part of Clutch Sports, and LeBron is literally on his all-time dream team.
I would love to go out there and play with, a dude like LeBron James, but you're not going to get those type of opportunities, I don't think.
Unless you wind up on the Lakers, that's right.
Things like that, but...
Did I mention that Anthony Davis is from Chicago and has stated before that he'd like to play there before his career is over? Don't mind me, I'm literally just over here thinking out loud. Anyways, let's get back to reality and get a few things out of the way. Lavine loves LA, but he also loves Chicago, and he makes that very clear. I'm actually a bit surprised Chicago doesn't get more love, being the massive market that it is. Not only is Chicago a major market relative to the rest of the NBA, but it's also an incredibly beautiful city that has some of the best fans in the association. Chicago's home court is serious. Even when this team was in Milwaukee during the playoffs, you could hear MVP chants for DeMar DeRozan. I've always felt that MVP chants in opposing arenas was some legendary stuff. I'll never forget Kobe's ability to go to virtually any arena and receive them. To get back to Lavine leaving, I just don't think it would make a whole lot of sense to walk away from $55 million. I know that state tax is a thing, but I think that that can be overblown, especially if you're in the right market. Now, don't get me wrong. There is always the possibility that a team interested in Zach Lavine could orchestrate a sign-in trade. That way, if Lavine were to leave Chicago, the Bulls would get something back. I think it's doubtful that he leaves, but if he left, I imagine that would be the route. If you're the Chicago Bulls, do you straight up max Zach Lavine? If I'm Chicago, I max Zach Lavine easy if I have faith in him remaining healthy going forward. Even if I have some small doubts, Honestly guys, I'm probably still maxing him. I really hate what max contracts and super maxes have become. This isn't a shot at Lavine at all, but I think in today's NBA the max is nowhere near what it used to be. And I also think that max contracts are also incredibly situational. People question the Utah Jazz and still question the Jazz for maxing Gobert, when maxing Gobert was easily one of their best courses of action. Every team in the NBA isn't designed to win a championship. Some teams and markets are okay with sustained runs of success while showing signs of being a pseudo-contender. Being good sells. Owners want to make money at the end of the day. So even if we feel that the Jazz were never these Western Conference monsters with Gobert, they still secured an asset that, in my opinion, retained some pretty good value while keeping them in the mix every year. I have a Utah Jazz video coming soon, and trust me, you guys will not want to miss that. I can't overstate it enough, but Chicago invested a ton in becoming good with Lavine in their plans. So if Lavine left, not only would they lose Lavine, but also some of their investments would make less sense. At the end of the day, there's a chance that there's something behind Zach LaVine's comments, or this whole thing is a game of leverage. Don't forget, Lavine could have been in Sacramento years ago if Chicago didn't match his offer sheet. The business side at that point in time was pretty ugly. Zach noted that he was disappointed in Chicago's aggression, and that he had to get an offer sheet from another team, calling Sacramento the team that stepped up, stating that they wanted him more than Chicago. Before Zach entered these negotiations with Chicago, he averaged 16.7 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 3 assists over the course of 24 games. Keep in mind, this is somebody that was not far removed from a major injury. I get Chicago's initial reluctance during that free agency period, but if I'm Zach, that's something that I really never forget. Now, obviously, I'm not Zach, and I'm not saying that he wants to return the favor to Chicago by playing hardball. I'm just saying that at this point in time, I really wouldn't blame him for trying to get every single dollar that he's worth. Nagging knee injuries and all. Unfortunately, knee injuries aren't the only injuries that have bothered Zach over the years. Do you guys think that Lavine could be the #1 option on a contending team? If Zach Lavine were to leave Chicago, where do you guys think that he would go? I look forward to seeing your comments on this situation because I imagine it's one that has the potential to get pretty controversial. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop. Until our next upload.